Squid Game took the world by storm in 2021, breaking Netflix records as the largest series launch of all time, reaching 111 million viewers in its first month. To this day, Squid Game holds the title as the most popular TV series debut by hours watched. This only left people wondering, when is season 2? Netflix confirmed the sequel to the show to nobody's surprise, and as Squid Game fans heavily anticipated its release, a video titled Squid Game The Challenge was uploaded on October 23, 2023. But when people watched the video, they realized that this wasn't a sequel to the original Squid Game, but a reality show. The video was immediately bombarded with negative comments, and with more news of horrific shooting experiences from the reality show participants, the darker aspects of Squid Game The Challenge is starting to unfold. Before we get into that, let's talk about Squid Game. How did a foreign show seemingly come out of nowhere and become the #1 trending show in the world? Well, other than being highlighted in the Netflix top 10 for weeks, the show's release came at a perfect time. Korean cinema was just beginning to break its way into the global market with the success of award-winning films like Parasite. Squid Game combined elements of thriller and dystopia into a very original and unique concept. Well, not entirely unique. Take a moment to compare Squid Game with The Hunger Games. Both involve deadly competitions and are also set in a dystopian world where oppressive groups control and manipulate the lives of the poor. But they do it damn well. The cinematography, character development, and many other aspects make Squid Game such an enjoyable viewing experience. I know many of the viewers, myself included, couldn't help but feel emotionally invested in the fates of each and every character. There were some viewers, however, who didn't enjoy the show because they thought the survival games were a bit simple and childish. But I felt like they kind of missed what the show was all about. Not to say people are not allowed to enjoy more complex and intricate games, but what made Squid Game exceptional was because of everything outside of the games. These games only acted as a plot device to move the story along. So then, with Squid Game being so popular, surely a Squid Game reality show would be received well, right? Well, not really. As we've mentioned earlier, the central theme of the original show is how the rich exploit the poor for their entertainment. And so, why in the world would you want to bring that to life? Think about it. We have 456 people who have signed up and are either desperate for money, fame, or a bit of fun, sure. And now Netflix is exploiting these applicants to create a show for our entertainment. Netflix perfectly represents the antagonistic organization in Squid Game, and the viewers of this reality show will be no different. So why would Netflix do this? Oh yeah, obviously, money. Netflix wanted to capitalize on the IP of their most successful debut to date, and to them, this was their best option. A completely tone-deaf option that ignores the entire message of the show, undermining the spirit of the original creator, all for their own profit. To put the cherry on top, the creator gets no royalties or IP ownership for Squid Game and its upcoming reality show, which is unfortunately the fate of many unnamed writers who signed a deal with Netflix. The director and creator Hwan Dong-hyuk wrote the script back in 2009. The idea for Squid Game came from his very own family situation. You see, Hwan Dong-hyuk's family was one of many who were affected by the Great Recession, having to take out several loans just to stay afloat. After reading several survival game comics like Battle Royale and Liar Game, he thought, if there was a survival game like this in reality, I wonder, would I join it to make money for my family? And so, he began working on the script. I wanted to create something that would resonate not just for Korean people, but globally. This was my dream. We are all living in a Squid Game world. Hwan Dong-hyuk actually met with the creator of the reality show and urged fans not to take things too seriously, and hopes that Squid Game The Challenge will carry on my vision and intention as much as possible for the show. And I know there are some concerns of taking that message and creating it into a reality show with a cash prize. However, I feel like if you take things too seriously, that's not the best way to go for the entertainment industry. And I hope that this is going to be a great new direction for the industry overall. Despite these comments, it's hard to believe that this is truly what Hwan Dong-hyuk feels, especially with everything that's been said previously. The more likely scenario is that he's just being civil and doesn't want to speak ill of Netflix, who gave him this opportunity in the first place. Things take a further turn for the worse when 2 articles are published to the Rolling Stone and Variety stating that the shooting conditions for the reality show were rigged, cruel, and inhumane. To outline everything that has been reported, we're going to tell the story of James. James applied to be a player by going to squidgamecasting.com. After entering some basic information, he recorded a 1-minute long video of himself talking about who he is, why he wants to be a part of the show, what is his game plan, and what he would do with the cash prize. After submitting his application, he received a call from the casting team detailing the next steps of the process. A phone and Zoom interview were conducted shortly after, and James was chosen to be one of 456 people worldwide to participate in the battle for $4.5 million. In January 2023, James was given a flight ticket to London, UK, and accommodations for a one-night stay at the Tower Hotel. James was given a list of strict rules to follow, which included no interaction with other players, no smoking, no drinking, and several other rules. And so, he diligently followed these rules and went to bed heavily anticipating the games that await him. James was woken up the next morning at around 3:30 a.m. and got on a bus that was arranged to take him to the shooting location. The bus drove for an hour and a half to Cardington Studios. The studio has 2 hangars where the infamous red light green light scenes will be replicated. This time of year is considered to be the dead of winter in the United Kingdom. January is when the temperatures drop to its lowest, reaching about 0 to -10 degrees Celsius. Now James, who lived in Miami, Florida all his life, isn't accustomed to this type of temperature. Despite being given a couple hand and foot warmers, thermal underwear and socks, it didn't really help much atop the cold concrete floors inside the large metal hangars. And when the game started, it got even worse. James had to take off the coat he was wearing to display the signature Squid Game tracksuit, and the hand and foot warmers were taken from him. Feeling a little bit chillier, he thought it would be totally doable to power through a quick game of red light green light. I mean, it's only one game. How long could it really take? The game was as he expected. Every time the killer stopped singing, they had to freeze in position. But what began as a 2-minute wait for every round eventually dragged on to almost a 30-minute wait time before the killer doll would start singing again. Having to stay still for periods of up to 30 minutes, the cold really began to get to James, and he also noticed a few other players being carried out in stretchers. He then hears someone speak into a microphone. "Hold your positions, the game is not paused." James was worried about the other players' well-being, but couldn't do anything because he feared elimination. What originally was supposed to be a 2-hour shoot dragged on for almost 9 hours. James unfortunately was eliminated during one of the rounds of red light green light, although on his way out, he looked back and noticed an eliminated player being put back into the game. He couldn't believe his eyes. Funnily enough, James's return flight back to Miami just so happened to be the same day he was eliminated, a not so believable coincidence. On his flight back, he thought, this wasn't really a game show, it was a TV show, and we were basically extras in the TV show. Netflix, along with Studio Lambert and The Garden, released a statement saying, "We care deeply about the health and safety of our cast and crew, and invested in all the appropriate safety procedures. While it was very cold on set, and participants were prepared for that, any claims of serious injury are untrue." While the production crew did make some efforts in trying to keep all the players warm, I think they lacked sufficient resources to support the players throughout the shoot, underestimated the drastic weather conditions of the shooting date, and then failed to make the proper adjustments to ensure the health and safety of all the participants. I can't deny that there will be a certain level of interest to see real people playing through the Squid Game gauntlet. MrBeast, who was known to make expensive, trendy, large-scale videos at the time, seized on this opportunity, creating $456,000 Squid Game in real life. While there was some negative feedback towards MrBeast for the same reasons discussed earlier, I don't think anyone expected a YouTuber to replicate the show and be faithful to its original themes. MrBeast also has a reputation to treat all his real-life challenge contestants extremely well, compensating their transportation, accommodations, and even sometimes giving participants cars, phones, or money just for joining his challenge. The video is still in poor taste, but hey, at least he gave credit to the original creator, whereas the reality show, releasing on Netflix, gives 0 credit.
What do you think of the YouTube gamers out there that are creating their own Squid Games?
I watched some of it. I loved it. It helped me to promote the show too. So please, I want more people to do it.
With all this knowledge in hand, I personally can't bring myself to watch the upcoming Squid Game reality show. I will, however, be looking forward to the actual sequel directed by the original creator, Squid Game 2, which is forecasted to release in 2024.